Hello and welcome to UPSC Preparation Simplified, an initiative by Rao's IAS Study Circle where we try to solve the problems that you aspirant might be facing while preparing for the UPSC examination. Today we have a very important topic to discuss. The topic is internal security, and we are going to discuss the topic of internal security from the perspective of UPSC Mains Examination 2022. And the person who is going to share his knowledge, wisdom and throw light on this topic is none other than Mr. Rahul Puri. He is a teacher of political science in IIR. Along with that, he also teaches internal security and international relations for general studies. Sir, welcome on board again.
Thank you, Nagen sir.
So, sir, paper has been concluded. We have discussed the first part, international relation.
Yes,
now
sir.
we talk about internal security. What is your first impression about all these questions that were there in the paper?
Again, I'll say, sir, this year same internal security was on the expected trends. Nothing would have just seeing the when the examiners when the aspirants would have seen the paper, it didn't would have come as a shocker for them because the questions were on the expected line. As I always say in my class that this is one of the most scoring part of your UPSC main. Because we have the limited topics, and out of those topics itself, every year 4 questions come from around 6 to 7 topics. So if you see internal security as a section, there are around 7 topics, and every year 4, as I said, 4 topics keep coming alternatively from one or the other. So this year also they have asked the topics from the expected issues, that is cyber security. That is Naxalism, that the other word is left-wing extremism, and the third is maritime security, which has become all more important, and the fourth is nexus between organized crime and terrorism.
Yeah.
So the topics were on the questions were on the very expected line.
Now, there is one point that I want to highlight actually. This topic looks easy,
Yeah.
but actually it is difficult to gather information for this topic. So, what should be the right resources that one should normally refer to develop a perspective on that?
There are few good books in the market. Student can refer those books for the standard topics. Once student is clear with the, as I say, always every subject has some basics to understand. Normally students do not understand the issue of left-wing extremism from the right perspective. They don't understand this, that left-wing extremism is not a problem, it is a symptom. It is the outcome. The root cause is underdevelopment.
Yes.
Because this is the underdevelopment which has led to the rise of Naxalism. So more than law and order issue, it's the issue of regional development and planning.
Yes.
So this is the basic aspect of this topic, and this topic is in the news. UPSC keep asking left-wing extremism because government is taking a lot of proactive measures to counter left-wing extremism, which is considered as one of the major internal security challenge. And government has opted for multi-pronged strategy, which has been asked by UPSC. And under the multi-pronged strategy, government is emphasizing on 2 things: one, the security aspect, and second is the developmental aspect. So a lot of measures being taken by the government, and Naxals are on the back foot, and that's why this topic is being asked every alternate year by UPSC.
Now, there is a question about organized crime.
Organized crime,
And it basically talks about its correlation with other aspect.
with terrorism.
Yeah. So, when we talk about organized crime, what is organized crime and how does it different from the regular crime that we see?
So first, student needs to understand if student has not read the basics, might be falter on this question because UPSC is very clearly asking the nexus between crime and terror. So first, you should be clear with the definition of crime. Anything which is against law is crime.
Of course.
Individual crime for personal financial gains is crime. When this crime is planned by a set of people, this becomes organized crime.
Okay.
And when the crime violates the integrity and the sovereignty of the state, that becomes terrorism. So same crime, if state feels can hamper the integrity and sovereignty, that crime will be listed under the terrorist. That crime will become a terror act, and the state will arrest the persons and they will frame the charges of UPA. So who will finally going to interpret this, that whether this act qualifies to be an act of crime or terror? Judiciary.
Of course.
So this is the difference between crime, organized crime, and terrorism. And now one of the organized crime which has increased this nexus with terrorism is money laundering.
Yes.
So basically here what UPSC wants to ask is, nexus between organized crime and terrorism is the nexus between laundering and terror, because laundering can be crime too, and laundering can be an act of terror because violent outfits are involved in laundering activities. And because Pakistan is on the grey list of FATF and India is strongly trying to bring it on the black list, the reason, what I personally feel, as this was in the news, the reason why UPSC has asked this question of the nexus between organized crime and terrorism.
Wonderful, sir. I think crime and terror these are two separate things. The best thing is to actually understand the difference between these two terms. One is questioning the sovereignty of a nation.
Yes.
Other is the crime that you commit in terms of going against the laws, rules and regulation.
Yes.
And that's a difference. That's
Yes.
wonderful. I think you have clarified my doubt as well in this particular topic.
Okay.
Now, moving forward, there are some questions which are very interesting in terms of the question of cyber security.
Cyber security.
And cyber security as a topic, I think you've mentioned it otherwise as well, that there are limited number of topics.
Yes.
And they keep on repeating those topics
Yes.
as and when they find some kind of stimulus in current affairs as well.
Yes.
So, when we have that kind of very well-defined list, how important or necessary is to continue to update ourselves? And what should be the resources?
And that's here comes the importance of reading newspaper.
Mhm.
Here comes the importance of our QIP classes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So here, from if student is reading the newspaper, I'm sure why, again my wisdom says why this question has been asked, because recently there was an attack on the electric grids in Maharashtra.
Yes.
And the belief is that attack emerged from China. Okay, also India's cyberspace is growing at a fast pace, and the belief is next war will going to be a hybrid war, which will be the culmination of land, water, air, space, and cyber. So, as under Digital Indian Mission, our cyberspace is growing. So that's why our cyberspace is becoming more and more vulnerable, and we need to strengthen our cyber security. And in this direction only, government has brought cyber security policy. So the question was on the very expected lines, and because this issue was in the news in terms of the attack on our electrical grid, that's why I think the question has been asked on the cyber security, and very straightforward question has been asked.
I think the basic idea is to keep ourselves updated and receptive
Yes.
to these kind of things, and
Yes.
this can be one of the ways to predict what
Yes.
UPSC might ask.
Yes. So, sorry to interrupt. Every topic requires understanding of the basics. As I said, difference between crime and organized crime, difference between crime and terror. Now, why the question being asked? Student needs to understand money laundering is in the news. Okay. Same left-wing extremism. You should understand that it's the issue of underdevelopment, regional inequality. Once you understand the basic, then you can build on. Then you can build on your understanding reading newspaper.
Now, since we are talking about things which can be thought of from the perspective of what is happening in current affairs, and hence maritime security, which is the next question. Again,
Yes.
the similar kind of line of thought. When I'm talking to you, I feel so motivated that students must be feeling such a excitement that all the questions that you have taught during the foundation course, they are there in the examination. So the next important aspect, maritime security. What was the purpose why UPSC asked this question? What they wanted to learn?
As I said, there are 7 topics. Out of 7, 4 every year UPSC will ask. That's for internal security, one of the most scoring part of your mains paper, that in the GS paper 3. So border management. Border management is one of the topics. So border management does not mean only land border management. We need to ensure maritime security because of the large coastline. We all are well aware of this aspect that 2008 Mumbai attack emerged from the sea, and many security reports recently said that the next big terror attack on India will be from the sea. So government is enhancing its maritime security.
Yes.
To enhance we follow 3-tier structure for the security of our coastal areas. First is Navy, second is Indian Coast Guard, which is seen as a paramilitary force, and third is the State Marine Police. So there's a 3-tier system being installed by the government for the security of our coastal areas. Also, we have just included INS Vikrant. So a lot of focus we are giving on the indigenization of our armed forces. And government is strengthening its naval capabilities too.
Yes.
And now we have the status of a blue water navy. Okay. And this region has become all more important because of the rising China's influence in the region. And the US is enhancing its influence under its pivot strategy, and we are aligning with the pivot under Quad. So all these aspects clearly signifies the importance of maritime security for India. That Indian Ocean region is very important. We can't ignore this. As said by one of the scholars, whosoever will control Indian Ocean will have Indians at its mercy.
Of course.
So for India, this is the sphere of influence. This can be the question of your GS paper 2 under the ambit of IR, world politics, and this can be the question which UPSC can always ask under the ambit of internal security.
Wonderful, sir. I think one of the primary reasons why everyone love your teaching is the way you connect the dots wherever it is required. And I think the basic art of teaching is to make everything simple, comprehensible, and reflected at the same time from the perspective of students.
I think this is what UPSC is looking forward to, because if you want to score marks, you have to provide these interlinkages.
I feel that all those students of yours are so lucky wish I could also stand with them, sit with them and learn something meaningful from you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and throwing light on this particular topic.
Okay, thank you, Nagen.
So this was Mr. Rahul Puri, and he has shared his knowledge, his ideas about the paper, and you can definitely see how easy or predictable the paper was. The way he has communicated the entire thing, these topics have been covered exhaustively in our foundation program. So you can always learn from these particular products and topics, and talking to the teacher, it must have given a lot of clarity to people who are actually preparing for the next attempt. We love to share, we would be very happy if you can like our video, you can share our video, you can comment on that, and if you have anything specific in your mind, just let us know through comments. We will be more than happy to include that in our process. From the entire team of Rouse IAS, we wish you all the best. Take very good care of yourself and stay tuned for more videos. Take care.